Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast. I'm the host, Sharryse. I interview people making a difference in their communities and in their creative spaces. Today's special guest is an international speaker, best-selling author of the book, The Extraordinary Unordinary You, and the co-host of a podcast called Her Unshakable Confidence Podcast. Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast, Simone Knego.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And I'm excited to have you on. So let's jump right in. Let's take us back to the beginning. Tell everyone where you're from and did you grow up there?
So right now I live in Sarasota, Florida. I consider this home. We've been here for 25 years now. But I grew up in Buffalo, New York, complete opposites, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
extremely.
Tons of snow up there and palm trees and sunshine here. So I'm used to the warm weather now and I'm not so good in the cold weather.
Oh man. Do you miss it sometimes?
I miss the change of seasons. I mean, that's about it. But like when I look at how freezing it is and driving in the snow and the ice, I'm very happy for warm weather. Even though it gets ridiculously hot here in the summer, you can still go inside and it's, and it's cold inside. So it's what I'm used to.
I just got back from New York a few days ago and I appreciate living in North Carolina because although it does get cold here, it was way colder in New York.
Yeah. Were you in the city or?
I was. I went to Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I went to go see a musical called Ragtime.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, my nephew, he was in it. And so it was
so
cool to check him out doing his thing. He's only 6. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
For real.
Fun is that?
You. Thank you so much. It was so much fun. And it was so cute watching him sign autographs at the end.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so fun. But it gets cold there. Like when you're walking the streets there, because some streets you'll be blocked by the buildings and then you'll get on that next street, you'll turn right and you're like, oh, you just get hit by that wind and there's nothing you can do.
At all. I mean, I was upset that I didn't bring a scarf. So
yeah,
it was killing me. It was disrespectful. Okay. Very disrespectful.
It's a good way of putting it.
For sure. What type of family would you say you were in growing up? Like, how were you raised? How were your parents?
My parents were definitely pretty conservative. They grew up in my dad was born in 1937, my mom in 1939. So they grew up during wartime and they definitely kind of saw things differently. And they both went to medical school. So, I mean, they're amazing humans, but they all also were from that generation of what will other people think and, oh, you shouldn't do that. I've already made that mistake. Don't make that mistake too. I'm like, I'm going to make my own mistakes. Like that's how life is.
Yeah.
But, I had a really good upbringing. I mean, my parents were amazing parents. And so I'm really thankful for that.
That's awesome. Would you say that your upbringing now that how you were raised by your parents is completely different than how you are today? Like, I know it might have had some influence on you, but because you said they're very conservative, are you conservative as well? Or did that sort of change once you got older?
I'm going to say it changed when I got older. So there's certain things I'm conservative about. Like I'm not going to run around naked. But I don't worry about what other people think. The way I teach my kids is like, you need to respect yourself, right? You need to really think about you and you need to take care of yourself. You need to take time for yourself. So very different than the mentality of like, work. This is more like, you got to focus on yourself too, right? There's a time and place for everything and you are part of that. So you need to take some time for yourself.
Would you say when you were a kid, speaking of kids, when you were a kid, what was your mentality like then? Were your parents also, telling you to work, or were they giving you some room to be able to make mistakes?
No, my parents were the work. I'm not the work. But yeah, my parents were really focused on academics, right? I mean, not a bad thing, but that's what they were focused on, because that's how they created their life, was through going to school. And I was a pretty rebellious kid, especially as a teenager. Like I was a pain in the butt for my mom, right? Like she lost a lot of hair, got a lot of gray hair from me for sure. And I don't feel that way about my kids. I feel like my kids are really grounded. Like, I don't know. I think I'm really fortunate because they they're just good humans. They like to hang out at home. They text, they call, all the things. So I'm not sure what I did right, but I think I did.
Maybe you were thinking about all the things that you were doing wrong and you were like, well, let me see how I can rear them in doing the right thing.
Yeah. And I think also that, I co-host that podcast with my 23-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a conversation one day about, like, why do you think we get along so well? Like, and all of the kids, like, we really have a close knit family. Why do you think? And she said, you practice no judgment parenting. So when we did stupid things, which we did, you didn't say, I can't believe you did that. Like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. What a failure. You would say, how can I help? And so, that really kind of gave us the confidence to not worry and be able to call you for anything, which I know I didn't have that. Like, I know my parents would be like, oh, you're drinking. Oh, no, you can't do that. Okay, well, you're going to do it anyways. So
I kind of had a similar upbringing to you. My parents are very religious. And let me tell you something, because I had such a tight chain on me when I was a kid, after I went off to college and joined the military, I think I had a great time. And I probably did all the things that they deem not good or bad, like drinking and going to the clubs and all those things.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, I think what I've realized as a parent is the more I say no to things, the more they actually want it. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. See how much you're going to love it tomorrow. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was so stupid. I'm like, I'm not saying a word.
I love that. So once you got into high school and everything, and of course, you were working on your academics, what were your plans? Were you planning to go to college? It seems like your parents were in the medical field, so I'm pretty sure they wanted you to go to medical school, maybe? Like, what happened?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the plan. And then I met organic chemistry and it did not like me. So, failed it the first time, took it again, got a D in it the second time. And that was kind of the end of the idea of medical school, because that's like a core class that you need.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I want to be an actress. And my dad was like, and you're good at math, so accounting it is. And so that's what I did. I went into accounting, and I met really great friends, and it's a great profession. It just wasn't the profession for me. So I worked for a couple years after college in accounting, and then changed my mind. And I've changed my mind many times in my life. And I'm a big believer in that you have one life and you should find something that you're really passionate about. I mean, it's not always easy, right? I mean, you got to pay the bills, but even if you can't have your primary occupation in something you absolutely love, you need to find something on the side that really fills your cup.
What this reminds me of I think it was like some conversation going on social media where someone was saying like, if you want to be an entrepreneur or an actor in the entertainment industry, what are your thoughts on going after that, but not choosing to like go work at a fast food place to provide for yourself? Like, do you believe that, hey, you should go after your dreams and that's it, like a one-way path, or do you believe like, hey, you still got to take care of yourself, you can't just couch surf?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go after your dreams, but you still got to take care of yourself. So, and sometimes that's hard. I mean, but you see tons of people do it. Like, you have to put in the work to make it in anything, right? I mean, like, I love that your nephew is on Broadway at 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know how hard so many adults try to make it, and it just is. There's so many obstacles, and so you see a lot of people and even people that are on Broadway. They work on Broadway, but then they work, they also work at a restaurant like, to make ends meet, because they're really passionate about what they do, but not everything pays all the bills.
Absolutely.
don't couch surf. Like it doesn't do anything for you. That's what I always say to my kids. If you're coming home for the summer, you got to find something to do, because I get irritated very quickly if you're just hanging out in your room.
I agree with you 100%. I had probably 5 or 6 jobs when I was in undergrad, including the Army National Guard, plus working
Wow.
at a club, then working at Lowe's Foods in the deli department. So I totally agree with you there. I was definitely not, well, I was not even living at home either. I was living by myself. So
Yeah.
yeah. After you got out of accounting, how did your life transition to where it is today?
There's lots of turns and bumps in the road. I mean, I had my first child when I was 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 53 now, so he's 29, which is crazy to think.
Oh my
And
goodness.
he's having his first child this summer, which is also crazy to think that
Wow.
I am gonna be a grandmother.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I am super excited. I'm like, I get to hang out, do all the things, and then I get to go home,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started having kids. I then decided that while I was home, because I always liked doing something, like
Mhm.
I that's just how I was.
Yeah.
And so I had a horse farm. I started teaching riding lessons. I ran a summer camp, and then we moved to Florida. And when we moved to Florida, I flipped houses. I went back to school to be a teacher. I worked as a teacher for a few years, and then I went into medical sales, and then that's what brought me to where I am today. Not medical sales, but
Right.
the idea of like, okay, what do I really love? Like, take a step back and understand, okay, what are the things that I'm really passionate about that I can still have financial freedom with? And it was storytelling. Like, I love telling stories. Now, did I think I was going to be a writer after being an accountant? No. When I said to my husband, I think I'm going to write a book, he said, you're an accountant and I can't wait to read it. It's like he had to qualify it first. And, that's what I started doing. I started writing, I started speaking, and, understanding the power of a story, that how much you can change someone's life by sharing what you've gone through, like the ups, the downs, all of it, like really being authentic, being real about who you are, instead of what we see on social media, all the shiny moments. Right. And, I spent a lot of my life, comparing myself to other people because, they had the bigger house or the bigger car, and none of that matters. Right. What matters is how you see yourself.
Yes.
And, it took me a long time to get to that point.
What was your relationship like with English and reading? Because you were an accountant, and you did like medical sales. So to go from that to I'm about to go write, what was that process like?
Yeah. So when I was in 5th grade, my English teacher told me that basically I sucked at writing. So,
no.
so that stuck with me for a really long time. And one of the reasons that I really didn't do things like this is because I always had that idea in my head that, wait, you're not good enough for this. You can't do this. And I was really good at storytelling. With 6 kids, like I'm constantly telling stories, making up stories all the time about why Burger King is closed on a Saturday, just a little white lie. But, I was really good at storytelling. And so I thought, when we would go out to dinner and people would be like, tell us a story. And I started thinking, okay, like what can I do with that? So that was kind of like the road to like the telling of stories out loud, but then putting them down on a page is very different, right? Like when you text someone versus having an actual conversation with them, a lot of it can get lost in translation, right? The only way, like if my daughter texts me and it's in all caps, I know she's either really excited or really upset, one of the two, right?
Right.
But if you just put it in regular letters, it just looks like a normal everyday thing. So the same thing on a page where you have to figure out a way for your emotions to come through. So it's that really descriptive piece that makes people take notice when you're telling a story on page, because I can be as animated as I want to be when I have a conversation, but on a page, people don't see that unless you're able to kind of bring it forward. It's not easy.
Oh, I agree 100%. As a journalist, I totally understand. What type of career did you have before you became a TEDx speaker? Were you writing already, or did that come before the writing?
So I had written my first book already. I had written my first book already.
Okay.
And I was like, what's the timing? I'm trying to think back. I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Just wait until you turn 53.
I pray to God I live to 53. I'm excited for 40. So hopefully in a few years I hit 40. I'll be 34 at the end of this month.
Okay. You look like 20. So, it's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, so I was speaking some. I had written the book, and then that's really when things got busier, right? Mm-hmm. After the TED Talks. Now, the problem I had with my TED Talks is both of them were kind of during the COVID period. So one of them was I had to record myself. Okay. I have no idea how to record things. So it's not my best moment, but you couldn't even get people to come to your house, right? Because everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So I figured it out. I probably did 50 takes, and I still am unhappy with it, but you know what? It worked.
Okay.
And then the second one was at UC Santa Barbara, and they would only allow a very limited audience in there because, again, things were still pretty shut down. And so I learned a ton from the experience.
Yeah.
But then after that, I started speaking more to different organizations, different women's groups. And that's really writing this book was my new book was kind of like the next, segment of my life, really putting all the work that I've done over the last few years, working with women, coaching and speaking to women's organizations and taking what I learned from that to put it into a book. And actually the idea for the book really started from what year are we in?
We're in 2026. Okay.
Yeah. So. 2015.
Okay.
I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Something completely out of my comfort zone. It wasn't something that I thought, oh yeah, one day I'm going to do this. I was asked to do it. I said yes. And it was life-changing for me because I was someone that really struggled with self-doubt for the majority of my life. I think that's part of the reason why I changed my mind so many times because I couldn't I didn't know who I was. And that moment kind of really changed everything for me. And what I realized is like, okay, how did I get from point A to point B? And that's how I created my REAL method, which stands for respect yourself, embrace your failures, ask yourself what you want, and live without limits. And that's what this book is based off of. And the book is called Real Confidence, a simple guide to go from unsure to unshakable. Wow.
That's a powerful title.
Thank you.
So, before we move,
was a lot in that one little.
It was, but I caught what you was putting down. I caught what you was putting down. Before we move on from the book, can you tell us when the book is coming out and where they can go find it?
Yes, I'll show it to you. It's so pretty.
Oh, I love it.
It comes out. Thank you. It's my mountain, right? Everybody has a mountain to climb.
They do.
So it comes out on February 17th. You can find it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, like anywhere online right now. I don't know what actual bookstores it will be in, but it will be in some once it comes out. And yeah, you can pre-order it now. If you pre-order it now, I have a bunch of bonuses that you can get on my book website, which is called realconfidencebook.com.
I just like to say that I pre-ordered, by the way.
Thank you. That's awesome.
I pre-ordered like a few months ago, or a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. But yeah, I definitely support what you have going on. So I love it.
I appreciate that.
So since we're already talking about your personal life, I have to ask about the podcast that you're doing with your daughter. Can you tell us the name of it again and how did you guys get started on that?
So it's called Her Unshakable Confidence. We started about 2.5 years ago, and it kind of came from, we just have these great conversations, sometimes crazy conversations. And so at first we said, well, let's start just going live. So we would go live on Instagram. And then we had a few friends say, well, why don't you just turn it into a podcast? I mean, you're already doing the work.
Yeah.
Have it there, like for it to be there instead of going live and it being gone. And so that's what we did. We first started, it was called the Daughter Dearest podcast. But then what we realized is that what we're really talking about is building confidence. And so, and the goal of the podcast, really, the original goal was to get her there quicker than I did. So that's why it's her unshakable confidence. And, now we drop an episode every Tuesday. We have guests on every other week. And so it's been just such a fun, I don't even want to call it project, but such a fun piece of what we do, because it's conversations. It's like we're sitting on the couch having a conversation. And even when we bring guests on, it's the same thing. It's just like learning about who they are, what they do, and how they can help other people.
As a podcaster, what are the top 3 things that you would recommend other podcasters to do to be successful? Especially since you said like you wanted to help her get here faster.
Yeah, I mean, 1, do it messy. Like, don't wait for everything to be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. Perfection is a myth. So just start it, right? I mean, if you have something you want to do, I mean, that's the great thing about podcasting, is that there is no barrier to entry. Like, you have to have a few pieces of equipment, but other than that, you can do it all on your own. I mean, there's so much great editing software now that it's really easy to kind of, I don't want to say easy, nothing's easy, but you can do it. Like, you can get it up and going, but don't wait to have all the answers, or to say, oh, like this recording isn't good enough. I mean, the way we record is that we don't edit things out. We let it go. Like, we're human. So when we make mistakes, well, okay, laugh about that. Like, sometimes I'm like, wait, what was I She's like, you didn't introduce yourself. I'm like, oh yeah, let me go back. Let me introduce myself. If you don't know me, right? Yeah. So, doing it messy, I would say number 1. Just enjoying the process, because I don't know what percentage of podcasts actually become like top 0.05%.
Right.
But if you can go on and give a message that can impact one person, you've changed the world. So, do it. And then the third thing is, like, be yourself, right? Don't pretend to be someone else. You don't have to go on there and look like you're completely made up. I actually look a little bit more made up than I typically do, because I have this big recording to do after this podcast. But most of the time half the time I'm in PJs. A lot of times I'm in a sweatshirt with my hair up in a ponytail. Like, be yourself. People are looking for authenticity. Like, people are over trying to, look at other people and think, oh gosh, I wish I would be just like them.
Right.
Like, be yourself so people can understand they can be themselves too.
I love all of what you just said. This sounds so biased, this whole thing. I keep saying I agree with everything you said, but I do.
I did not pay her for this. I did not pay her for this.
There's no money involved.
No.
Speaking of your family, your daughter, you are a mom of 6 children. How has being a mother changed you over time?
Well, I'm still kicking, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's completely changed me. I mean, the idea of patience and understanding and compassion, and like, if I go back 29 years from, when my son was born, I'm not anywhere close to the same person. First of all, I feel like I have a bit more knowledge these days, right? I mean, I was pretty clueless. And I think a lot of times, we think we have to have everything just right. Like, nobody does, right? Everybody struggles.
Right.
Remind yourself of that you're not in this alone. And if you need help, you ask for help, because people are willing to help. But yeah, definitely, I'm a completely different person. I'm more of a risk taker these days. Like, I used to just be like, oh gosh, what will other people think? Or if I fail, like, what's going to happen? And I don't think like that anymore. And watching my kids, so we adopted our youngest 3 kids. So we have 2 children from Ethiopia that are now 21 and 18, and our 19-year-old is from South Korea. And so, really watching them go out in the world. And, again, it's all about being exactly proud of who you are and being able to self-advocate. And, I love everything about being a mom, even the times where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep for 3 days, because, it just though you don't get those times back, right? Like, so I
Right.
look back for when my kids were little and oh my gosh, there were so many sleepless nights. But instead of like resenting those moments, it's kind of like, how lucky am I that I actually get to be here right now, right? I get to
Yeah.
experience this in my life.
Wow. Why did you and your husband decide to adopt children?
Great question. So,
Thanks.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many amazing kids in the world waiting for a family to love them. And we want it to be that family, right? I mean, there are so many reasons I could give you. I mean, we could have had more biological kids. I was not a good pregnant person. And,
That's
but when I said to my husband, what would you think about having another one? He's like, oh, you are never giving birth again. I said, oh, I'm not talking about giving birth. I'm talking about adoption. And he was like, oh, well, we can talk about that. But
he sounded relieved, like, oh, okay,
oh
great,
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. But again, there are so many amazing kids in the world waiting for a family to love them, and that's how we decided to grow the second part of our family. It's interesting because a lot of our friends didn't understand it at first. They're like, you can have another biological child. Why would you adopt? I'm like, why wouldn't we?
Right.
And when we first got, when we got the first picture of our son, Noah, and so he's our son from South Korea, he's dressed in this beautiful white gown. And in the photo, he has a number on him.
Oh.
So and that was his identification, like through the adoption agency, was the number. And when our friends saw that, they were like, we get it. We get it now. And so, I think that our family has changed a lot of families around us because they too see the world a bit differently, like we do.
Over the Thanksgiving holiday, I watched this movie. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was some area called Possum Trot or something. And like this whole neighborhood adopted all these kids. And it made me think of you when I saw that movie over the Thanksgiving holiday.
I have not seen that movie. I gotta try to find
God, I cried the whole movie. I cried. It's such an inspiring story, but it also gives you a better look into like how when you bring these children into your home who might have come from some serious issues,
Yeah.
because you don't know their parents, you don't know what environments they were in, and that part really got to me, because everyone deserves to be loved, especially children.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you don't, I mean, we had friends say, well, you don't know what's Ari was 4.5 years old when we adopted him. They're like, you don't know what he's been through. And I was like, yeah, but I know what I can do after this. Right.
You sound like the parents in the movie. Oh man. But that's so true. And I'm so happy that there are people out there like you doing God's work, man. That's God's work right there. So moving forward, what has been your biggest challenge that you've had to overcome as a mom?
Oh, geez. A lot of them, but I think that's a hard one. So biggest challenge I would say is the idea of being present, right? Like there's so many things to do all day long, right? And for me, it became not about how clean the house was or how organized things were. It was like the quality time that you got to spend, because that you can't replace, right? I mean, I can clean up when they're out of the house. I can clean, I can do all those things. So at first I really thought, oh, like everything has to be just right. No, it doesn't. Like they're not going to remember that. They're going to remember the time you spent together. Anytime you traveled, they're going to remember playing games. They're not going to remember, was my house messy or not? I have no idea. Right. I mean, not that their house is gross.
Right.
But I wasn't so focused on like, as soon as they took the toys out, oh, you got to clean it up right away. Right. No, like that's for later. Like let us like spend time together. So that doesn't sound like a huge challenge, but like for mindset wise, it's kind of, and especially when you have 6 kids, you can feel like completely overwhelmed. But and I would say additionally, like our son Noah, he's on the autism spectrum. So really helping other parents understand him and helping his teachers understand him because for a long time, and I would say this is actually probably was our biggest challenge, is for a long time, um, you know, the response was, like he has bad behavior, or he can't he's not going to be invited to this because he can't control himself and that kind of stuff. He's in college now, like he's doing great. Right. So, but we just kept going.
Yeah.
And there were times that were really, really hard, but it was getting the people around him to be supportive as well. And the kids in his school got him, like, I remember one time at a birthday party, one of the parents said, "I can't believe he's still behaving like that," to one of the other parents. And of course I heard it. And I said, "Oh, great." And one of the kids said, "Well, Mom, he's on the autism spectrum." And like, that was kind of like okay, the kids get it. I don't really care what the parents think, but the kids get it. Like, that's all that matters. And then by the time he was in high school, like he had a close group of friends. So, all the things that we worried about for so long, is he going to be able to go to college? Is he going to have friends? If, all these things, is he going to drive a car? Like, he's doing all of them. So, we worry so much, but in the end, like you just kind of keep going. Like, you got this. And they got it.
That's awesome. Now, before I get to this next segment, I want to go back to you being an author and a public speaker and all of the things. How did you, how did you not transition, but how did you get the training to speak in front of all these people? Was that something that you just jump right into, or did you go to a Toastmasters meeting, or did you take a class? Like, what did you do?
Yeah. So the first time I spoke, it didn't have any training. I was asked to do it, and I was like, they were like, "Come share your story." I'm like, "What story?" Like, that was my mindset back then. I didn't realize that I had a story. They're like, "Okay, you have 6 kids, you've done all kinds of stuff." I'm like, "Really?" And so that was like my first experience, was in a volunteer position, asking to speak in front of people to raise money. And it was successful. People cried, people laughed. That's all that mattered. And it went really well. And then from there, I kept doing more volunteer speaking. And then I went to an organization called Heroic Public Speaking and did some work with them, which was great, like really about stage work and conversational stuff. Like, one of the things I struggle with is my filler words, and I still do it. I say like a lot. I say, I'll pause. You'll hear it when you listen back, but but we all do things like that. So when I speak on stage, I tend not to do that. But when I'm on podcasts, I usually don't say sometimes I say but I say like a lot, and then I'll pause. Like, so it's interesting. So really working on those things was really important for me. I remember being on one of the first podcasts I was ever on. The guy said I said like, or some kind of filler word like 200 times, and he edited it out.
Oh,
and I thought that was really funny. I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, edit it out." But I said but I typically now I focus on it. Actually, for a long time, I would have sticky notes on my computer when I would do a podcast that would say no filler words, no but, no and, no
Man, I say all the time, and I'm in Toastmasters, and I still say I'm really working on my filler words as well, but it's hard.
Because in normal conversation you say it, and then my kids say like to me all the time, like, like, and so then I start saying, I'm like, why am I saying it?
I am known for saying, I'm surprised I haven't said it that much today, but I'm a person for real.
Yeah, I do that too. I do that. And the kids are like, "No, we don't know. Like, why are you saying that?" Thank you so much. Okay, great.
What are you hoping that your new book does after it's published and people have gotten it? What type of impact are you hoping that it makes?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it impacts a lot of women. I mean, even if it impacts one woman to see themselves differently, to believe in themselves, to understand that confidence is a skill that you build. It's not something that other people have and you don't. Right. I think that's one of the biggest things, because that was something that I thought for years, was that, oh, she's so confident and I'm just not. Okay, well, you work on it just like any other skill, that You don't learn a language in one lesson. You don't get buff from going to the gym one time.
All right.
Wouldn't that be nice? But it just doesn't happen,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it takes commitment. And so why would it be any different with our mindset, with how we talk to ourselves, right? With how we see ourselves? It all takes work, and you have to decide, are you willing to put in the work?
Where do you think this idea of people having low self-esteem and low confidence in themselves coming from, especially women? Where are some things that you think that stems from?
I think societal pressures are a big part of it, right? That we look at what everybody else is doing and think that we should be doing that too. And if we're not, then we're not good enough. We also, in the workplace, there's definitely still a discrepancy between men and women. When my mom was younger as a physician, she was paid less than her male counterparts. I mean, the women at the hospital where she worked, they actually had to file a lawsuit to get paid as much as the men.
Oh, man.
And she worked twice as hard, to be honest. I mean, she was constantly working. But so I think a lot of it is how we feel society sees us.
Yeah.
But the other part is the way we see ourselves. We're constantly feeling like we have to change something about us to be better, to be stronger, to be more beautiful, whatever it is. And I truly believe that we don't need to change who we are. We need to change the way we see ourselves. And that is huge. And that, for me, it didn't happen until my mid 40s when I realized that, wait, why am I worried about what anybody else is doing? First of all, when we're worried about what someone else is thinking, they're not thinking about us, right? I mean,
at all.
What are they gonna think about me? They're not thinking about you. They're worried about their own problems.
Right.
But we get so up in our heads about it that we're like, oh, we can't, there's nothing else we can do, right? So society has a big deal. And then social media is a killer. You look on there and you see people with their yachts and their, tiny bikinis, and you're like, well, that'll never be me. Well, good. It doesn't need to be you, right? I mean, we shouldn't worry about what anybody else has because we have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. You see a lot of people that have a ton of money and they're not happy. Now that's an overgeneralization,
right?
But everything in life comes with its own issues. So just stop the comparison game because it's not getting you anywhere. And the only one that's feeling bad about it is you doing the comparing because the other person doesn't even know that they're being compared to.
Yeah, they're probably stressed out about if their spouse is cheating on them in their yacht that they have.
Right. I mean, everybody has their own issues, but and I'm not saying that everybody's issues are valid. Like when you're struggling with something, then it's a real struggle. But looking at what anybody else is doing doesn't help you at all. It's really looking at yourself, realizing what you're capable of and talking yourself up. I mean, one of the most important things for me on a daily basis is positive affirmations, the way I talk to myself. Even last night, I was sending an email out and it was to a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I instantly received a response that said, take me off of this list. And I was like, okay, right away. But then the next 10 messages I got were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for including me. And, I started getting up in my head that first email. I'm like, let it go. Like, this does not matter, right? I mean, if they're angry about something, it has nothing to do with me. Just delete and move on. But we let that affect us so often, right? And it's okay. Let it go.
Oh, I agree, man. I hope when we get to rants with Sharryse, I'm excited to see what you're going to rant about because that was a good rant right there.
Yeah,
for real. Well, the next segment is called Uncomfortable Questions, and during this segment, I'll ask you either or questions, but you have to choose one and explain why you're choosing it. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Cash or credit?
Cash.
Why?
Because if you don't have the cash in the bank to pay for it, you shouldn't buy it because it's just going to add to more stress and more feeling bad about yourself. Trust me, I like credit for the points, but I want to make sure I have the money in the bank to pay it off.
Amen to that. College or entrepreneurship?
So a few years ago, I would have said definitely college, but now I'm going to say entrepreneurship. So, but if you don't know what you want to do, then I would say start off with college and then figure it out. Because so my son, who is 21, he did not want to go to college. He's got severe dyslexia. He's like, this is going to be really hard and I don't want to do it. And I said, okay, what's your plan? He said, well, I don't have one. I said, well, give me a business plan. Well, I don't have one. I said, okay, well, I guess go to college for a year. And then if you hate it, then come back with a plan. Well, he's a junior now, so he's not hating it and he's going to graduate college. So, but it's not for everybody, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there are so many amazing things you can do out there and that are lucrative, that fit the schedule that you want. I mean, and there's so many people that there's so many professions that are really lacking in terms of the number of people that they need to fill the space, plumbers, welders,
yes,
electricians, and they do really well. I mean, my plumber calls and it comes and it's $150 just to get him here, right? Forget the repair work.
Right.
So there are, and some people are really, if I don't go to college, I'm not enough. No, that's not true. Like, figure out what you're good at and go after it.
And one thing I like to add to that is that a lot of celebrities and people who are millionaires, they didn't all go to college. Some of them just have very successful businesses. So, yeah.
Very true.
Self-help books or podcasts?
Oh my gosh, both. I guess since I'm publishing a book next month, then I should say self-help book.
Okay.
But I love podcasts too. I mean, the nice thing about a self-help book is that you can put it down for a second, pick it back up again. You can underline in it, right? Like, so all those things you can highlight. So that's what I love about self-help books, to really being able to go back and back. And you can do that with podcasts too, but you don't get to underline. So,
And I'm more of a tangible person and I love podcasts, but I love me a good self-help book. I have so many. All right. The final one. Living naked on a beach or living naked in the rainforest?
Oh, I would definitely take the beach, because rainforest, there are too many creatures. Like, something's going to bite me.
Man,
right?
everyone says that. But I chose the rainforest every time. Yeah, because sand, being in places you don't want it to be in, man. I don't know if there's enough trees.
I hear that, but have you watched Naked and Afraid? I mean,
I
have. And every time they're in like a tropical rainforest setting, like, everybody has like these welts all over their body from the bug bites, and that's just not for me. So let's hope I don't have to do either, but if I did, I would say beach.
Okay. I will say, because I deployed to Kuwait and Bahrain, it will always, and I was in the Marines and then I went to the Army and I deployed in the Marine Corps. So just deserts and sand and beaches, I'm just not with it anymore.
I hear you. That makes a lot of sense.
All right. This final segment is called Rants with Sharryse. And during this segment, you get to rant about anything that you want. It could be not using signal lights, whatever. But after you share your rant, you have to give us a solution to fix the problem. So the floor is yours.
So I would say that complaining, anything to do with flying, is ridiculous, right? So, I mean, I was flying when we had the shutdown of the airlines because they didn't have enough staff. They didn't have the tower people and not enough TSA people. But gosh, people come in there and they are so rude to the TSA staff, and they're so rude to the people working at the desk. Like, they could fix it, right?
Right.
And so we had the plane that I was going on. I was flying back from Boston to Tampa, and it was delayed like 2 hours. We were leaving at 9, then we were leaving at 11. Then they got us on the plane. There was a pilot, but then the pilot timed out, so then we had to get off the plane again. So by the time we left, it was like 3:00 in the morning, and we were supposed to leave at 9. So then we got back at whatever. I got home at almost like 7:00 the next morning. But the people were so rude. It's like, some of them were nice. Some of them were like, we get it. The ones with the small kids, they were actually the nicest, which I was shocked because I know when I travel with my kids, it is so hard,
Yeah.
And then you finally get on the plane and the kid falls asleep and then they take you off the plane again. And you got to take all your crap with you, right? But some other people were just like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. It's like, everything's shut down, right? I mean, we're lucky that we're getting a flight. There was actually a flight right before ours that was going to Tampa. They took off and they actually had to come back and land the plane because someone on the plane thought it would be a good idea to go into the bathroom and smoke from a vape pen.
Oh my
and
God.
So they turned the plane around and the guy had to get arrested. But everybody on that flight didn't get a new flight. They had to wait a whole nother day because of it. So that's like a double rant.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
So what's your solution? What should everyone do?
Gosh, like have some patience, right? The person behind the desk isn't making, the airlines delayed. So if you go up and scream at them, first of all, I wouldn't want to help you if you're yelling at me, right?
Yeah.
I want to help the people that understand that I'm human and that I don't control the weather. I don't control who shows up or who doesn't, right? So take a step back and say, if your daughter was working behind that counter, how would you want her to be treated? And if you're not going to treat her like that, then don't treat the other person like that, right? Like just understand, like they're a daughter, they're a son of somebody, and treat them with respect.
Absolutely. I wish you could bow. You should bow for that. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Before you go, can you please share your social media with our listeners and where they can go to find your podcast and your website and your book and all the things?
Absolutely. So you can find me on my website, SimoneKnego.com, which is SIMONEKNEGO. You can find, and everywhere on social media is either Simone Knego or Speaker Simone Knego. If you search Simone Knego, you will find me. I'm the only one in the world named Simone Knego, at least for now. And who knows who's going to decide, oh, that's such a great name. Let me name my kid after you. I don't know about that. The podcast is called Her Unshakable Confidence, and you can find it anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And then also, what else do I have left? Oh, my book. realconfidencebook.com. You can go on there, pre-order it, get your bonuses, and reach out to me. Let me know what you think of the book. Let me know what you think of the podcast. I'd love to hear from you.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. Hopefully you come back so we can talk and dig into the book. Oh, that'd be exciting. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe we even have your daughter. Oh, that'd be even cooler. Yeah.
We've done a few episodes with going on other people's podcasts with the two of us. She's a little bit trickier because of her schedule, like because she's in law school. Yeah. So but yeah, I would love to do that.
Awesome. We can definitely make it happen. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. It was a pleasure having you on, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being here.
And thank you for listening to Connect Like Minds.